Senator from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thanks to my colleague from Nebraska who confided in private to me that he didn't think he could go for the full hour, but I would have welcomed at least another 20 minutes of speaking from my friend from Nebraska. But it is 3:15 in the morning, and we're here discussing sending another $61 billion to Ukraine as part of a $95 billion security supplemental. And I think it's important to at least give some context for the four people across our country who are currently awake to how we got here and why we got here and why we managed to fumble, I think, a great opportunity in this chamber to actually do some real border security. So first, months ago, my Republican colleagues and I discussed the possibility of doing a border security package as a point of negotiation with our Democratic colleagues over Ukraine. The basic setup of the negotiation went something like this. Republicans are unified, at least allegedly, in our view that the border is a national security crisis. This is allegedly a national security supplemental, and the border is the most important national security issue that we confront. And on the flip side, Democrats are united in their view that Ukraine must receive another $61 billion or even more of American aid. And there were the seeds of a potential deal that could be cut between Senate Democrats and Senate Republicans. Now, there are a few problems with this, as we learned. The first is that while our Democratic colleagues might agree that the border has some problems, they apparently do not agree that it is quite the same crisis that we do. That's one problem. And another problem is that apparently our Republican colleagues are not nearly as united as we thought that we were or as we pretended to be. In fact, the closer we got to an actual resolution of the negotiation, the more that we learned that our Republican colleagues, at least a small subset of them, cared a hell of a lot more about the Ukraine package than they did about securing the American southern border. So it's negotiation 101 that if you go into a negotiating posture where you desperately want the thing that the other side of the table also desperately wants, that you're not in an especially good position. If Republicans are as desperate to send $61 billion to Ukraine as Democrats are, then it isn't very shocking that the Democrats were not willing to give us a large amount on border security. Now, this is what, of course, everyone knew. This is what, of course, everyone now knows, because after a mere hour of debating a border security package as part of a broader supplemental, Senate Republicans joined with Democrats to immediately move on to a discussion of a Ukraine supplemental. Literally an hour. If you had dreamed up something from the fever swamp conspiracy theory of the American conservative movement, you could not have come up with something more egregious than this fake negotiation, what it produced, and how it immediately led to a debate not about our southern border, but about Ukraine. Now, there are a few problems with this particular negotiation, a few problems with the way that it unfolded. So the first is that it was done in secret. A border security, and by the way, this is problems from the perspective of conservatives, problems that the Republicans in our conference who are supporting this should have been mindful of if they wanted to actually get to a border security package that could have got a majority of Republican support. Because after many months of negotiation, there was a border security package that received, I believe, 4 Republican votes, and now we have a Ukraine supplemental that received far less than a majority of the Republican conference. If you wanted to get a majority of Republicans to support this border security package, you should have observed a few basic rules. The first is that you should not have done a secret negotiation. Many of our voters, many of our colleagues are mistrustful of secret negotiations. They're mistrustful of the people who participate in secret negotiations, because if you're not getting the details of a plan out as it unfolds, you're not doing it two things. First of all, you're not actually allowing the people who know immigration law best within the conservative movement to understand what's in it, to offer feedback, to try to improve the bill, to ensure that whatever text is coming together actually matches the terms of an alleged negotiation deal. Two, you're denying the American people an opportunity to actually understand what's in the border security deal that's unfolding. Three, you're denying Senate colleagues a real opportunity to debate the merits as they come together. What actually happened was not, you negotiate for a couple of weeks, and this is where the Democrats are, and this is where the Republicans are, and maybe we can find some, seeds of a compromise here. What actually happened is that after months of negotiation, Senate Republicans started asking, well, what's in this deal? What shape is it taking? What have the Democrats given? What have the Democrats asked in return? And this was all mediated through a very, very small number of channels, and that process bred mistrust before we even knew any of the details of what was in the border security package. Now, if you were a cynic, you would say that this is by design, that we designed a package that was meant to create mistrust. We designed a process that was meant to create mistrust and was never meant to lead to any significant border security. And I hate to say it, I think that's actually the package that was produced. So after months of secret negotiations, after months of denying some of the smartest immigration experts in the world the opportunity to critique and offer feedback on this package, after months of breeding mistrust within the American body politic, the details of an immigration grand bargain started to leak out. And the details were pretty troubling. There were some good things, of course, some things that we liked, some things that we think were necessary, but it's interesting that even in the most generic terms, the details of the immigration plan started to create some backlash among most Republicans. And again, if you can't pass a border security package without the support of most Republicans, then it's not actually going to pass.